Welcome to those in the gallery and those streaming in today for what is this Council's first ordinary meeting of Council. I'd like to commence with a welcome and acknowledgement of country. Wodonga Council acknowledges Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islands people as the first peoples of the country. We also acknowledge them as traditional owners and custodians across various lands. We pay our respect to their ancestors, elders, children and young people. We acknowledge the strength and resilience of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islands peoples and recognise their continuous connections to lands, waters and communities across the country. Item 2 is apologies and requests for leave, and I believe there are none. For the first time, we're having a good governance pledge and I'm volunteering as Mayor to speak to that. So Wodonga councillors have committed to 1. Undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the municipal community. 2. Abide by the Model Councillor Code of Conduct and uphold the standards of conduct set out in the Model Councillor Code of Conduct. And 3. Faithfully and impartially carry out and exercise the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in the office of councillor under the Local Government Act 2020 and any other act to the best of their skill and judgment. If I could ask for any declarations by councillors in terms of conflict of interest.
Yes, I have a conflict of interest in confidential business.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Agenda item 15.2 and 15.3.
Yes, 15.2 and 3. General conflict of interest.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Cowan. Any other conflicts of interest? It's noted, thank you. We can move to item 5, which is the confirmation of minutes from the previous meeting. A mover. Councillor Hall, thank you. Seconder, thank you, Councillor Quilty. Any other councillors want to make any comment in relation to the minutes, or we're happy to vote on those as being approved? All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. Move to item 6, which is question time. It's my understanding, CEO, there's been receipt of 2 questions to Council.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. There have been 2 questions submitted to Council. The first is from Mr Dennis Ramsey. They submitted a question about Council's local law and permits in relation to camping and caravans. The question will be taken on notice and a written response provided. The questions and Council's response will be published on Council's website. The second question is from Mr Charles Mitchell and has written to Council about the rate, revenue and financial plans. Mr Mitchell has not included a question but rather has offered suggestions to councillors. A copy of Mr Mitchell's correspondence will be provided to all councillors. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, CEO. Which now leads us to item 7, petitions. There are none. And also then item 8, which is delegates' reports. There are nil. Which now has us moving to reports for determination, item 9, with the first item being 9.1, 2025 council meeting dates. The reports before councillors. Someone like to move the recommendation?
I'll move the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Cowan. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Aldridge. Any questions or comments on the recommendation? If not, if I could take it to a vote. All those in favour? It's carried unanimously, thank you. Moving on to 9.2, the councillor appointments of committees. There's a recommendation before us. If I could ask for a mover or a mover of an alternative recommendation.
Can I move a motion?
Thank you, Councillor Knight.
For the councillors to consider, is it the council to determine its appointment to the various committees, suspend normal business? Is that correct, or do I need to? Sorry. Council determines its appointments to the various committees. Right, sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Procedural motion that the council suspend standing orders for the discussion on this matter.
So just two, there's 1, 2 and 3.
Motion
One, that's what you suggested, yeah.
Yep. Council determines its appointments to the various committees. The Finance Budget Delegated Committee meeting scheduled for December to be rescheduled for 1 PM on December 9th, 2024. 3. Council engages discussion about the allocation of councillors to the various committees. Is that what you want to do? Thank you.
So thank you, Councillor Knight, for moving that. Can I have a seconder? We all clear on what that was?
Do you want me to read it back in?
Could you, CEO, please, just for clarity purposes?
Sorry.
Mr Mayor, yes, some of the councillors have made some suggestions on alternatives to what's in the officers' reports, and the alternative suggestion was that the council, 1, council determine its appointments to the various committees. 2, that the Finance and Budget Delegated Committee meeting scheduled for December 2 be rescheduled for 1 PM on December 9, 2024. And 3, council engage in discussion about the allocation of councillors to the various committees. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you.
Just need a second.
Yeah, so a seconder to that motion.
I'll second for the purpose of debate.
Thank you, Councillor Quilty. Thank you. So would anyone like to speak?
The mover speaks.
Procedural motion.
Procedural motion that council suspend standing orders for discussion on this matter.
Thank you.
Don't need a second if you
Yeah,
need a vote.
seconder to that motion.
Don't need a
I
second.
don't need a seconder, thank you. Sorry? No, you don't need to vote.
You do need to vote.
I do need-
Sorry. No seconder, but you do need to vote
Right.
because it's a procedural.
So given it's procedural, can, by show of hands, vote in favour of Josh's procedural motion? It's carried unanimously. Who would like to kick off?
So we're looking at who's going to be on the committee, is that
Correct.
So the Audit and Risk Committee requires 2 councillors. So would that be something you could ask for? Or is there people that want to be on the Audit and Risk Committee?
So, Councillor Quilty, would you like to respond?
Yes, I would very much like to be on the Audit and Risk Committee. I had the honour of being a council representative of Audit and Risk Committee for the entire 4 years of the previous term. I think it's a very good appointment, not as boring as people might think, and a great way to know various aspects of the council, its risks, controls and opportunities. I would very much appreciate my appointment to Audit and Risk Committee again, and I hope that somebody will nominate themselves to be my buddy, because we need 2 councillors.
Thank you. Councillor Cowan?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'd like to nominate for this committee as well. I think Councillor Quilty has sold this committee and the values of learning and operation, being across the whole organisation is so appealing. I have to join her.
Could I ask a question? 2 councillors are required, but more can go if they choose to. They just won't be. Yep. Okay.
As observers?
Yes. Yep.
May I note, 2 councillors are required for the committee, but 1 is required for quorum. Should, for example, a council can be engaged elsewhere on her deputy mayor duties, and myself in attendance, we will still have the quorum, provided there are enough other independent members.
Okay, Councillor Hall, any interest in that committee? I know it's limited to 2 councillors.
Look, I'm happy to let Councillor Cowan take that position as has been suggested. If I would like to turn up, I can be an observer.
So as a proposal, we've got Councillor Quilty and Deputy Mayor Cowan as council representatives on that committee, and we'll just hold that. We'll take it to a voter after we go back later to vote on these. The Municipal Association of Victoria requires a representative and substitute. It's been prior practice for the mayor and the deputy mayor to be the representative and substitute. Is there a alternative suggestion to that, or are we happy as a council to go with what has previously been? Mayor and Deputy Mayor. Delegated committees, the Finance and Budget Delegated Committees, all councillors, so that's determined. The Advisory Committee, 2 council, being the Australia Day Committee, 1 councillor. Councillor Quilty, you're putting your hand up there to be a member of that committee.
Yes, I'm putting my hand up. I think it's a great honour, responsibility, and also a good representation to be the chair of that committee. I was chair of Australia Day Committee for not the entire term, but most of the previous term, and I found it a great privilege to congratulate the community with Australia Day, to congratulate new Australians on becoming new Australians, and very humbled by the experience of meeting and knowing the recipients of Australia Day, Australian of the Year, Young Australian of the Year, and Community Organisation of the Year. I also see it, if you indulge me, I also see it as my, and possibly, excuse me for being presumptuous, this council's opportunity to put forward an immigrant council to fulfill this role, as it is my hope that it inspires new Australians to share their values and to truly and really fully integrate into the community and stand up for the community and believe in all possibilities that our democracy has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you.
I ask a question on that too.
Thank you, Councillor Simon.
Any of these or all of these just 12-month terms? Are we? Yep. So we potentially they'd be able to another council would be able to have another role in 12 months' time.
Bring that matter back to full council.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Councillor Seymour, for that question. And look forward to that response, CEO. In the absence of any other proposals for alternative councillors to the Australia Day Committee, we can move on to the CEO Employment and Remuneration Advisory Committee, and just noting there that typically is made up of the Mayor plus at least 3 other councillors, and if other councillors who are interested in being on that committee could put their hand up. Councillor Hall, Councillor Quilty, Councillor Knight, Councillor Seymour. Thank you.
Sorry? No, it's just, sorry.
Oh, well, that wasn't a question, sorry, Councillor Hall. No? Good. We also have under representative committees the Alliance of the Councils of the Shires of the Upper Murray, which is typically represented by 1 councillor. Any proposals there?
Yes, I have an interest in that, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Cowan. There are no other proposals there. We also have the Golden Murray Climate Alliance, which is typically 1 councillor. Any interest? Again, Deputy Mayor Cowan.
Yes, I have a strong interest in that committee. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much for that interest. And then lastly, 2 Cities, 1 Community working group, which is typically made up of the Mayor plus at least 2 other councillors. It's at least, and we've got 3, and I'm sure that's not a problem, given that it's at least 2. And I just have received a note that all councillors of Albury, just for information, have elected to join that committee. Is that correct, CEO?
I'll put my hand up as well. I didn't want to outnumber them.
Yeah, that's.
So just for clarity purposes there, we've got Councillor Knight, Councillor Seymour, Councillor Aldridge, Councillor Hall, Councillor Quilty, no, sorry, and the Mayor. Great. Well, thank you very much for that. Now, do we need to go back to standing orders?
So are we accepting all those as read, or do we come back to that? Sorry.
We'll come back to it as a separate motion. So, Councillor Munnett resumes standing orders.
So-
If someone to move.
move the procedural motion that council resume standing orders for the discussions on this matter.
All those in favour? It's carried unanimously.
Sorry.
So, CEO, would you like to suggest or would a council like to suggest a motion? I've made record of who's put their hand up for what.
That I'd like to move a motion that the council determine its appointments to the various committees as follows. And you have the Audit and Risk Committee nominations.
So I've got here Councillor Quilty and Deputy Mayor Cowan.
And then for the Municipal Victoria representative was the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor as a substitute.
Correct.
Finance and Budget Delegated Committee was all councillors. Australia Day Committee was Councillor Quilty. CEO Employment Remuneration Advisory Committee was, can't remember.
Can I read them?
Yes, please.
Councillor Knight, the Mayor, Councillor Hall, Councillor Seymour, Councillor Quilty, Councillor Aldridge, Councillor Knight.
And that 7, Alliance of the Councils and Shires of the Upper Murray was Deputy Mayor Cowan. Goulburn Murray Climate Alliance was again Deputy Mayor Cowan.
Yes.
2 Cities, 1 Community Working Group was the Mayor, Councillor Aldridge, Seymour, Knight and Hall. Is that correct?
That's correct. Correct.
And that the Finance and Budget Delegated Committee meeting scheduled for December 2nd be rescheduled for 1 PM, December the 9th, 2020.
Great, thank you very much. Do we need a seconder for that? Thank you, Councillor Seymour. If there's no further discussion, we could take that to a vote. All those in favour? Again, carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors, and thank you to the Chamber for your patience with that matter. Which now leads us to 9.3, very important body of work that's been done over the last 18 months. The Wodonga 2050 Community Vision. I'd invite councillors to move the motion there.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to move a motion for consideration, please.
Thank you. And
It's different to the recommendation in the report, so I could read that recommendation, the motion to the councillors.
please.
That the council, 1, adopts the Wodonga 2050 Community Vision developed by the 2024 Community Deliberative Panel. 2, look to the short to long-term responsibilities of council for both action and advocacy around 2050 vision aspiration and themes to inform the 2025, 2026 to 2028, 2029 Wodonga Council Plan and Municipal Public Health and Wellbeing Plan. And 3, place the Wodonga Council Plan and Municipal Public Health and Wellbeing Plan 2025-26 to 2028-29 on public exhibition as planned and consider any feedback in the final adoption of the plan prior to 30 June 2025.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Could I have a seconder to that motion?
May I ask to move a couple of questions as to intent of this motion?
Need a second first.
Oh, okay.
Could we have a seconder to facilitate the question of Councillor Quilty? A seconder to the Deputy Mayor's motion. Thank you, Councillor Knight. Councillor Quilty, your question.
Thank you. My question is, could you please explain the meaning of look to the responsibilities of council in number 2 and in number 3? As far as I'm aware, it is a standard procedure to place those on public exhibition and consider the feedback in the final adoption. So what is the purpose of having this added to this recommendation here?
I think
Being standard practice.
well, the purpose is to really consider what other short-term opportunities there are and looking at what responsibilities the council has in the longer term, looking at our legislative responsibilities as well, and to ensure that we capture any other additional information or community feedback as necessary to fully inform the council plan, taking into consideration where people may not have had the opportunity to influence or develop this vision that's before us.
May I follow up with a question, possibly to the CEO? Capturing such feedback and considering it, what sort of power, what sort of form is available to us to capture this feedback, and what sort of effect and power as compared to the outcome of deliberative committee will such capturing have?
Through the Mayor, Councillor Quilty, so my understanding of this proposal is to adopt the community vision and then follow what would be a council standard process under our engagement process, where we look to that document to inform the council plan, and then from there, as we develop that council plan with the consultancy that we've currently put out, go out to the public with a draft, as we would typically do each year as a budget process, and seek the community's feedback on that. As previously, the council received a full report on what the community's comments back and whether that plan needs any adjustments as such in that full consideration, and then council has to adopt that that document as part of its budget suite by the 30th of June. Does that answer your question, Councillor Quilty?
Yes, thank you. At what point may I foreshadow an alternative motion, should this one not?
If you have an amendment, you can, and that's consistent with that resolution, you can move that as an amendment. But if it's not consistent with that resolution, you can propose a foreshadow.
I believe it's not consistent. I'm more inclined towards motion 1 on the list, and yes, I foreshadow should this motion fall.
So that foreshadowing is noted, Councillor Quilty. I'd like to open it up to other councillors also to perhaps ask any questions or make comments. In the absence of that, then I...
Oh, no, sorry, I would like...
Oh, you've got another...
I asked questions.
Yeah,
I haven't
right.
spoken to it.
Sorry.
May I? Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you very much, Councillor Cowan, for introducing this motion. I am afraid I won't be able to support it because I think this motion simply reinforces our standard procedure, and while adds somewhat larger amount of clarity and transparency to our standard process, does not deviate much from the recommendation ahead of us. And the other reason is I, in full faith and with my deep gratitude and recognition of all the work put into this body by council staff and by community members and by those elected to the deliberative panel, I'm not prepared to adopt this document in its current form because I believe it creates an expectation gap. The document talks about this vision shaping such important strategical documents as council plan, financial plan, asset plan, municipal public health and well-being plan. While during our briefing and consultation and presentation, us councillors were led to believe that this vision does not shape but rather informs our work on these strategical documents. Why I am concerned about the expectation gap is the themes and the important points of the document talks about our people having healthy behaviors and lifestyles, our council achieving net zero by 2050, our increased use of sustainable models of transportation resulting in less need for motor vehicles, to name but a few. And I'm afraid that a lot of these aspirations, while beautiful and wonderful, are simply outside this council domain. And our faithful attempts to reach this shiny goal will leave us, have the potential of leaving us with no funds and no opportunity and even energy left to fix the roads and take away rubbish. I believe that we need to take a less futuristic view and inform the community very clearly of what we as council have the authority to deliver. I also have received feedback from the community that this report is somewhat light on the importance of economy, financial sustainability and fiscal responsibility that is as well desired by our community. Again, not to take away from the tremendous work and dedication of everybody who participated in the process, from community members to council staff. Thank you.
Go to the original motion. Thank you, Councillor Quilty. Just seeking some guidance on the process here. Deputy Mayor Cowan, would you like to respond or write a reply? Speak to the motion.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Today, the councillors had the opportunity to hear from two of the participants of the deliberative forum, Stephen Brunei and Francis Hancock. I think those people were able to provide an insight into the process that gave me confidence that it was a very, very robust process in terms of the development of the community vision, and I'm confident that this document is aspirational and designed to help shape our council plan. And I feel that we have a process here that we must give respect to. Extraordinary amount of commitment has gone into this from a number of community members. 34, in fact, stayed the course through that deliberative process, and I feel confident that the design of it has provided us with a very good statement that is tiered upon community aspirations built across a number of stages of community engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just again, Councillor Hall, before we go to you, I think just this process, we need to then go to the seconder. So, Councillor Knight.
I only seconded the motion so we could get to the question.
Yeah, right.
So probably would have been better to have let it go.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Knight. Councillor Hall, sorry.
Okay. Firstly, I'm supportive of transparent, open community consultation and engagement. Fully supportive. And I thank the council staff for the huge volume of work they've done in compiling the Wodonga Community Vision 2050. The Act says we have to develop a community vision policy by the 31st of October in the year following the general election. A note, council only needs to develop a community vision policy that lasts the next 10 financial years. Council decided to go to 25 to align with the 2050 vision, I'm told, and I wasn't aware of the Albury Council's 2050 vision. Anyway, haven't seen it and I wasn't aware of it. Whilst there are some many good aspects in the Vision 2050 document, and I'm fully supportive, there are many things that alarm me, like Appendix 2, the graphic recording, comments, lists like universal basic income, to which the question is, would the ratepayers pay for this? Everything is listed in this document can be used in everything council does. That concerns me going forward. I read over 50 pages of feedback provided in the links attached to the document, and I only saw once a mention on climate change, yet it is the community vision pillar number 3, stating net zero by 2050. And I'm not against some of these issues, but it's funny how one person was in the feedback and then it gets into one of the major pillars in the document. So where did this come from? Also in the 50 pages I read people wanted better bus services and transport linkages, but nothing about reducing the motorcar vehicles mentioned in Pillar 4, places and spaces. For all the many people I've spoken with during the engagement, I found it hard to think past the 10 years and had to be prompted to. Many of the engagements, events, pop-ups that I attended, in my opinion, I felt was an underlying push to achieve an outcome and a desired result. Elements of the integrated transport strategy that the last council did not support is basically back again. I was also contacted by panel members who were involved in the last stage of the council deliberation engagement. They were extremely concerned about the information feedback that was dismissed and not included in the document, where there was consensus, a huge consensus, a large consensus that it should be. They found that the headlines like economy, sound financial management, reduced debt was pasteurised out of the final headlines. They came away from the process feeling disillusioned, and I have come away from the process feeling disillusioned. As I believe, in my opinion, it had an agenda-driven, not an agenda, but had appeared to be driven by to achieve a desired outcome. The consultation engagement process had a total budget of $117,838,000. I believe we must find a more effective and affordable way to do these consultations with our community. I believe the consultation with our community should be done with transparency. Our people should be able to speak and not have to sign waiver forms about the process. Councillors get elected to represent the people within their communities. We are the voice and the conduit to the council. It is my opinion councillors are losing their relevance at council, and our voice is inconsequential. The document, when adopted, will influence everything we do at council, be that the council plan, budget, spending, strategic planning and policies. This is why I will not be supporting the motion put forward tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. It's note that I think the Deputy Mayor has a right to reply in the first instance, or
At the end, so move through all councillors and then at the end. Sorry.
so. Councillor Aldridge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say that personally I'm excited to see the Wodonga community vision come together, and for me this vision is capturing the hopes and the ideas of our community, and it's giving us a clear path forward towards an exciting future for Wodonga. And I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone who got involved in this process, whether people attended sessions, shared their thoughts online, or just even helped spread the word about the document. The community input has been absolutely vital in creating a vision that reflects who we are and where we want to go. And for me, this document, this one here, it's a commitment to building a stronger, more connected and thriving Wodonga. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Aldridge. Councillor Seymour.
Thank you to all the councillors that have spoken so far, and again thank you to the community who have had some input into the vision. I also have concerns around it. While their aspirations, the community's aspirations are put in here, I have concerns that maybe they're not understanding the implications so far into the future, and I share the same concerns as Councillor Quilty and Councillor Hall on this, and for that reason I will be considering the motion that was moved by Councillor Quilty.
Thank you. Councillor Knight.
All been said.
So if there are no other questions or comments from councillors, I defer back to the Deputy Mayor for a right of reply.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since September 2023, 5 project phases have been implemented, providing multiple opportunities for community members to contribute to the shaping of this vision. They were by means of community forums, neighbourhood pop-ups, community conversations, online engagement, community facilitated group conversations, and using the excellent toolkit that was provided for kitchen table conversations. I believe that this is a very, very positive and a succinct distillation of incredibly complex phases of engagement, and I'm confident that while there are concerns about not everyone feeling that they've got their voice recorded in here, there are opportunities for that to happen with the motion that I put forward tonight.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So in light of that, if we could put your motion to a vote, and depending on the outcome, then potentially go to Councillor Quilty. So all those in favour of the motion articulated by the Deputy Mayor, those in favour? Read out the councillors, so the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Cohen, Councillor Aldridge, the Mayor, Councillor Goble, in favour. Those against? Councillor Quilty, Councillor Hall, Councillor Seymour, Councillor Knight. So that motion's failed. Given that, Councillor Quilty, you've foreshadowed an alternative motion. Could you please speak to that? Thank you.
Thank you. My motion is that the Council places the Wodonga 2050 Community Vision developed by the 2024 Community Deliberative Panel out for public exhibition for 28 days and provide the report back to a future Council meeting with consideration to the feedback received.
Councillor Quilty, can I just confirm, is it 21 or 28?
8.
28. Thank you. Could I have a seconder to that motion? Councillor Seymour. Any councillors would like to speak to that? No, yeah, sorry, move it in seconder.
Thank you. I believe the concerns and hopes and aspirations around the current document have been voiced, so no need to repeat those. I have changed the motion that was suggested to us from 21 to 28 days because our next council meeting is in February. I believe we can afford this time and it will be necessary. The community members will be able to ponder and consider it maybe during Christmas break because it's such a fun Christmas activity, or afterwards once time with family and friends has been had. And with the upcoming holidays, I believe it's necessary to have a slightly longer period, 28 days, and the February meeting should see the feedback, which we will consider, and it will provide a valuable addition to what has been presented to us by the group.
Thank you, Councillor Quilty. Seconded? You don't need to speak to it. Any other councillors who would like to speak to the motion at all?
I may make a comment after the councillors.
So, Councillor Hall.
Yeah, I'm going to support that. Whilst we still have real concerns, like I listed before, I will support this motion, but I still have those concerns, and I don't know where that will end up.
Any other councillors? Councillor Knight?
Yeah, I had some trepidation with the vision going through from the early stages. Sort of a lot of the comments and stuff, and while I appreciate the time of the deliberative panel and a lot of effort and stuff went into it, it to me didn't reflect what was actually at the start in stage 2 or appendix 2 in the documents, and appendix 3 again, as Councillor Hall mentioned before, major things seemed to drop off and became repetitive. I think I noticed that a couple of the points there were, excuse me while I just go back through my notes, 4 of the 6 themes seem to repeat the same message back, and that because of that, I felt that there was almost an agenda in how it was conducted or an outcome preconceived. So I'll be supporting Councillor Coultie's motion to get feedback from the rest of the community.
Thank you, Councillor Knight. Any other council comments or questions before we go to the CEO who's requested? No? So CEO?
Through the Mayor, councillors, I might just note with 28 days that would take us into Christmas and the shutdown period. Typically we wouldn't do engagement during that period. If Councillor Quilty might consider minimum 28 days, and that allows us to actually go beyond the Christmas period, do the sometime in January as well, and still provide that report back.
Minimum 28 days.
Do we need to move that again?
Just need the permission of the mover and the seconder. So Seymour and Quilty.
So
Yeah.
we have the permission from the mover.
Yeah, that's
Thank you, Councillor Seymour. So Councillor Courtney, I'm looking at you at the mover. Did you want to say anything before we go to a vote?
Nothing to add, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Courtney. Councillor Seymour? No. So given that, if I could then put it, the foreshadowed motion of Councillor Quilty to a vote, being mindful that it's now a minimum 28 days. All those in favour? All, that's Councillor Quilty, Councillor Hall, Councillor Aldridge, Councillor Seymour, Councillor Knight. All those against? Deputy Mayor Cowan and Mayor Ho. Thank you. So that's carried. Thank you. So on the conclusion of 9.3, we now move to 9.4, which is the proposed road names for the Leneva Views Estate. We have a recommendation before us. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Aldridge.
I'd like to move that the council supports and endorses the following proposed road names for the new residential subdivision at 95 Kinchington Road, Leneva: Cranespill, Dianella, Lomandra, Matt Rush and Guineaflower, and that this resolution be forwarded to the Registrar of Geographic Names to undertake the gazettal procedure.
Thank you. So the motion is recommended. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Seymour. Any questions or comments from councillors before we go to a vote? No? That being the case, if I could, by a show of hands, all those in favour? That's unanimous. Carried. 9.5 is the proposed road name for Alps Court. The recommendations before us. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Knight.
I move that the recommendation be accepted, that council supports and endorses the use of the proposed name of Alps Court for the new roadway within the new industrial subdivision at William Page Drive, Wodonga. And this resolution be provided to the Registrar of Geographic Names to undertake the gazettal procedure. Sorry, mate.
Thank you, Councillor Knight. Could I have a seconder? Councillor Aldridge, any questions or comments? No. If I could then put it to a vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Which now leads us, if I'm wrong, to reports and noting. No. And there are none. Item 11, reports for information. We have the record of council meetings. It's for information only. Do we have any questions on either 11.1, the record of council meetings, or for 11.2, decisions register from councillors? No? So that's all for information? No. So that leads us to item 12, which is notice of motion. If I could call upon Deputy Mayor Cowan.
Oh, sorry, Mayor. I'm sorry, just reading that I don't feel comfortable sitting through, so I want to declare conflict of interest just because of the wording confirmed by Councillor Knight, a perceived
So,
conflict of interest.
sorry, just Councillor Knight, just for clarity, are we referring to?
The notice of motion was lodged by
Yeah.
Councillor Cowan and was also confirmed by, as we discussed, Aldridge, Goble, Knight and Seymour. I feel that sounds like I've got a perceived.
Oh, right, so this is in relation to, the wording here is, this says the notice of motion was lodged by Councillor Cowan and was also confirmed by Councillors Aldridge, Goble, Knight and Seymour, and you're articulating that wording's potentially misleading,
Yes.
and that rather than it be confirmed, you're suggesting supported.
I'm gonna step out as saying I've got a conflict of interest because of that. I've got a perceived conflict of interest.
Right. CEO, would you like to make a comment?
It's up to a councillor to make their own decisions on that. With our governance rules, if a councillor proposes a notice of motion, other councillors are allowed to support that to be presented to council, and it's not making a decision, it's noting that they support this matter being brought before the council. I wouldn't think that that involves conflict of interest around that particular matter, but you are able to make your own decisions on that matter.
So Councillor Knight, given the CEO's comments and advice.
I'll take that and then
So you retract.
I'll
your conflict
retract
of
my
interest?
conflict of interest then. It's just the wording.
It's very, sorry for my name, Mr. Mayor, that's my fault in the wording that I've used there, confirmed, and so I'm happy in future reports to change that. All it is was other councillors supporting it being presented as per the governance rules.
Thank you.
My apologies.
Thank you for that clarification, and in future we won't use the word confirmed when we receive a notice of motion like that. Thank you. Deputy Mayor Cowan.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to put the notice of motion 12.1 for the hospital advocacy. I don't propose to read it all, except to say that there are just two minor changes in that 8C is deleted and replaced with section 9, endorses the CEO to A, provide a summary of possible greenfield locations in Wodonga produced by the CEO in the Officer Comments, including private and public land, not limited to those provided following the 2021 master plan process. B, provides this information to the meeting of the representative adjoining councils in the Albury Health Catchment to provide, to consider and provide input to the Victorian and New South Wales and Australian governments. So I'd like to put the motion, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Can I have a seconder for that motion? Thank you, Councillor Aldridge. I invite the Deputy Mayor to speak.
Thank you. Tonight, this hospital advocacy notice of motion aligns Wodonga Council with the position of 5 adjoining councils in the Albury-Wodonga Health Catchment, including Albury City Council. I would like to thank the CEO, Matt Hyde, for also providing a comprehensive officers' report, including the most recent advocacy actions of the previous council, including a number of previously advised greenfield options located in Wodonga. We know that both the recent council, led by Mayor Mildren, and the council before, led by Mayor Poulton, were tireless in their advocacy for a better hospital deal. In August this year, the New South Wales Health Infrastructure Project team released concept plans for the Albury Hospital redevelopment. These plans were the first factual realisation that we are not getting what we've been promised, nor would these plans deliver a hospital that meets the current demand. Dr. Barbara Robertson of the Border Medical Association was quoted to say, this is not as bad as what we had warned our community is, actually much, much worse, with parts of a bare bones building being delivered as shells only. The Border Medical Association, alongside more than 200 concerned clinicians, has recently written to the Prime Minister and the New South Wales and Victorian Premiers to urgently call on the state governments to address critical issues with the proposed redevelopment of Albury Hospital. Our local doctors say that despite their repeated warnings, the current redevelopment of Albury Hospital fails to resolve severe capacity shortages, and nor does it address the critical safety risks stemming from an operation of two undersized hospitals just 10 kilometres apart. We were promised a world-class single-site new hospital. The concept designs released in August were a shocking reality of the compromises to essential services, prioritising budget constraints over patient care and community needs. This advocacy motion calls for a halt to the current plans, immediate release through modular facilities, and a return to the 2021 Clinical Services Plan to ensure a properly funded single-site hospital on a greenfield capable of meeting our future demands. In recent weeks, we have also heard the very sobering analysis provided by Better Water Health of inequities in funding for the provision of health services in this region. Border residents have hundreds of millions of dollars less spent on their health care. They have access to fewer hospital beds and less theatres than comparative populations. Why should we be satisfied with poor health outcomes? We know all of us sitting around this table from community feedback during the recent council election campaigns in both Albury and Wodonga how important health services are to our community. It is incumbent on us as councillors to advocate for a better deal, and I commend this motion to the council.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Cowan. Seconder to the motion, would you like to speak to it, Councillor Aldridge?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Goebel. I just want to thank Councillor Michelle Cowan and the council officers for their dedication and hard work in preparing this motion tonight, advocating for a greenfield site hospital. This is an issue that is of immense importance to our community. Advocating for a new hospital on a greenfield site is about ensuring the best possible healthcare for the people of Wodonga and beyond. It's a chance to meet the growing needs of our region with a facility that is modern, accessible, and capable of delivering top-tier services. And it's also essential that we continue to work closely with neighbouring councils, including Albury, to align our advocacy efforts. A united approach strengthens our voice and ensures we can effectively represent the needs of our shared community across the border.
Thank you, Councillor Aldridge. Any other councillors would like to make a comment or question? Councillor Hall.
Oh, really? So, yeah. Okay, I'd like just to speak to it. Okay, I thank Councillor Cowan for her work in putting together her notice of motion. The last council term of councillors has been strongly advocating for a new hospital for some years now. We've done some excellent work in the past on advocating to get other councils, local politicians and advocacy groups on board. I'd also like to acknowledge the past two mayors for their work and advocacy on the hospital. It's been greatly appreciated and is vital and has been vital in keeping the issue on the table going forward. We need to be solution-based or we will fall short and become just another activist group going nowhere. It is my view that we need to get an independent assessment to find the best possible greenfield site, which has been put up in the motion, site for the hospital development on behalf of the two cities. Any land identified would also need agreement by both cities and consultations with regional towns. Accessibility, ease, costs to develop the land that is suitable for future growth. I see the federal government playing a big part in this development. We need federal representation at the table, advocating strongly for our communities. In my opinion, the federal government has a responsibility to provide appropriate funding for needed vital infrastructure if the states will not come to the table. The federal government should step up or pull the levers they have to provide the necessary infrastructure for our growing community. Their push for large populations is not helping. Health, education, housing, all services in general are impacted by severely by huge numbers coming to regional areas, cities like Albury, Wodonga, and we're feeling the crunch. Local councils are the last to get any appropriate funding needed. A new hospital on a greenfield site will require a tripartite agreement The time is now. People are sick of second-rate services, be that of redeveloping existing hospital that is, in my opinion, not fit for purpose or for future growth of a rapidly growing region.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Any other comments, questions? If not, I'd just like to, with the indulgence of council, just to make some comments. I'm really supportive of this motion, Deputy Mayor. I see it as a great opportunity for not just us as a council to get on a unity ticket here that's very clear, but more so creating a unity ticket for our surrounding regional councils, of which there are another 5. I just think it's a really powerful statement. And thank you for your hard work, and to Councillor Hall's comments, mirroring those around really acknowledging the work done by the 2 previous mayors that was substantive in this space. And I think history will show that this council will be on the right side of history. If there are no other comments, if I could put the motion to a vote. Oh, sorry, I did forget. Councillor, Deputy Mayor Cowan, would you like to respond?
Thank you. I'd just like to, restate that, we do have now 5 councils, 6 including us, that are lined up and speaking the same language. That's incredibly powerful. I hope to get the support for the motion too. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. By a show of hands, all those in favour of the motion? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So that now brings us to item 13, general business. Maybe if I could just kick off. I'd just like to take this opportunity under general business to pay tribute to the Wodonga legend and icon, Jean Whitler, OAM, who sadly passed away on the 21st of October, 4 days before her 98th birthday. Jean placed huge importance on chronicling the history of events, and often would be the conduit between what has been and what is today. In 1968, Jean began reporting at the Northeast on Northeast local government councils, and was a regular visitor to this chamber at the Wodonga Council. She later joined the ABC in Albury and covered both regional and federal issues. A popular story that she used to tell and shared with Howard Jones in the Border Mail was a story regarding a meeting with the Prime Minister, Gough Whitlam at the time, who, on noting Jean's surname, joked, "You're one letter away from greatness." My reflection of that is, knowing Jean's sense of humour, I'm surprised she didn't respond with "back at you." But post-retirement, Jean continued to attend Wodonga Council meetings, while she and Betty McLean would often be seen sitting together. And it was at these meetings that I first got to meet Jean in the early 2000s. I recall as a director receiving many typed letters from Jean's typewriter, providing background and history of Wodonga that as a newcomer I may not have been aware of. Forever an advocate of understanding history so we don't make or repeat mistakes, she asked me to be the custodian of some documents that were part of her extensive archives of typed correspondence. I always welcomed Jean's frank and fearless advice and comments. It was easy to do, as I knew that it was always coming with good intent and from a good place. She loved Wodonga. Jean will be very much missed. Thank you. Would anyone else like to make any tribute to Jean? Any other councillors? Councillor Cowan?
I also met Jean in the Wodonga Council chambers many years ago. She was a regular. Jean always had an anecdote or a gentle piece of advice to offer, and I personally have had the privilege of Jean's kind wisdom and know that she was very much behind the hospital advocacy too. I know that Jean was a strong supporter of Pam Stone, and Pam was the first female mayor to Wodonga. So Jean's had a significant and influence in this council chamber. Jean was conferred the Order of Australia in 2008 for her service to the community, particularly through local history, youth and media organisations. She will be very fondly remembered.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other comments? Anything else under general business? No? If it's the case, moving to item 14, urgent business. I understand there is none, CEO. Which then leads us into confidential business. So there's a recommendation there that the meeting be closed to members of the public in order to consider matters pursuant to section 3.1 of the Local Government Act 2020, and that the meeting be adjourned for 2 minutes to allow the public to leave the chamber. Could I have a mover for that? Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Quilty, seconded by Councillor Knight. Thank you very much to those in the chamber and those online. It's carried. Carried unanimously.
No one out there, Kevin, that wanted to come back?
No.
Oh, sorry.
No one there? So, with no one being invited back in, but and have we got the live streaming? Does that kick back in? Do I need to wait for that? All good to go? Welcome back, everyone. We're having returned to open council on item 17.1. With that being unanimously adopted, we move to 17.2. Adopt the in-camera recommendations. The recommendation of the closed meeting of council be adopted. I need a mover for that. Councillor Aldridge and a seconder. Councillor Quilty, any comments or questions? If not, all those in favour? That's carried unanimously. 17.3 is the public release of the decisions that were made in the closed council meeting. If I could call on the CEO to refer to those public.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In relation to item 15.2, proposed purchase of 26 Stanley Street, consideration of offers. The public component of the resolution is that 1. The council receives and notes the offer to purchase the whole of the land parcel addressed as 26 Stanley Street and the offer to purchase approximately 4,700 square metres of land parcel addressed as 26 Stanley Street. That the council resolves not to accept the offers but authorises the Chief Executive Officer to make a counter offer of not less than the value of the land as determined in accordance with section 114(2)(c) of the Local Government Act 2020 to both prospective purchasers, and that the Chief Executive Officer provides a report back to a future council meeting in regard to the above, and that such report provides further clarity on any proposed development of the site. In relation to item 15.3, 41 to 43 Elgin Boulevard requested further amendments to the section 173 agreement. The public component to the resolution is that 1, the council does not agree to any further amendments to the draft 173 agreement applicable to 41 to 43 Elgin Boulevard, Wodonga, as requested by Integer Securities Limited, and 2, the council reaffirms its resolution with respect to the matter taken at the closed council meeting held on the 15th of July 2024. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. And CEO, maybe just a question around process. With 15.1 having been also under the umbrella of confidential business, do we need to articulate any public motion there?
No.
We don't?
Mr Mayor, no.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to check. Good. Okay, so that concludes item 17 with the public release of decisions made in the closed council meeting, which now leads to the closing of the meeting. And I'd just like to thank all councillors for their participation, the chamber, audience, and those who are streaming online. Thank you very much. Meeting closed at 7:34 p.m. Thank you.